Hey friends, welcome back to the Content Systems for Growth podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Dewey, and I'm glad you're here with me today. If you've been around for a while, you know this show is about helping you build content systems that actually work for your business, not more content, not more hustle, systems that make what you've already created work harder for you. Today, we're talking about Google Drive, and I know, not everybody's excited about this topic. You might be thinking, Michelle, this is not exactly a thrilling topic, but stay with me here because what I'm about to share could save you a significant amount of time, stress, and honestly, a little bit of embarrassment when you finally bring somebody onto your team. So let's get into it. Here's the thing. You've been running your business for a while now. You're established, you're generating revenue, you're serving your clients well, and somewhere in the back of your mind, you're starting to think about what it would look like to bring somebody on to help you. Maybe it's a virtual assistant, maybe it's an OBM, maybe it's a content manager, whatever the role looks like, you're feeling that pull, that sense that you cannot keep doing all of this alone. But here's what nobody's telling you. Before you hire, your systems have to be ready. And one of the biggest systems that get overlooked is your Google Drive or your storage systems. I have been inside lots of business owners' Google Drives over the year. And let me tell you, it's one of the most common places where I find complete and total chaos. Folders with no names, files dumped into root drives with zero organization, documents that are named final version 3. Sound familiar? I thought so. And it is not your fault. You have been heads down building your business. Organization was not a priority, or maybe you dislike it completely. Growth was what was on your mind. But here's the truth. If your Google Drive is messy, bringing someone onto your team is not going to fix it. It's going to multiply your problems. I want you to think about organizing your Google Drive a little bit differently today. This is not a housekeeping task. This is a growth decision. The way your files are set up right now is either going to support your next season of business or slow it down. And when you're a faith-led entrepreneur who feels called to grow, to serve more people, and to steward the business God has placed in your hands well, you want the foundation to be solid before you build higher. That's what today is about, getting your Google Drive ready so that when the right person comes along, you can onboard them quickly, handing things off with confidence and actually getting your time back. Let's start at the beginning. Before you reorganize anything, I want you to open your Google Drive and just take a look at it. Not to fix anything yet, just to observe. Are the folders you currently have actual folders you use? Do you know what's inside them? Are there folders sitting there that you haven't opened in 2 years because you genuinely forgot they existed? This is step 1, a simple, honest review of what you're working with. Ask yourself a couple questions. Does your current folders reflect where your business is today, or are they set up for a version of your business from 3 years ago? Do they need to be renamed or reorganized to make sense to someone other than you? The last question is the important one because right now you're the only one navigating your drive. You know where things are, kind of, but when somebody else comes in, they should be able to find what they need without asking you every 5 minutes. Plus, you might be frustrated yourself when you're looking for things. If your drive only makes sense to you, it's not a system. It's just organized chaos. Now let's talk about how to actually set things up for your team. And this is where it really gets good. If your business is on Google Workspace, formerly G Suite a long time ago, but I want to talk to you about shared drives because if you're not using them yet, this is going to be a game changer. Here's the problem with the way that most people set things up, and I did it myself. They create folders inside your personal My Drive and then share those folders with team members. It works until somebody leaves. When a team member's access is removed, files they created or owned could become really difficult to locate or access, and it can create a mess. So shared drive solves that problem. When your files live in a shared drive, the team owns them, not you personally, not your contractor personally. The organization owns them. So if somebody leaves, those files stay right where they are and you're not scrambling, they're not lost, they don't have different access to somebody else, then there's no need to panic. So I want to be honest with you. I did not use shared drive for a long time, and it was only because Canva couldn't access them, but that's been changed. That's no longer a limitation, and you can save things from Canva into your shared drive. So what shared drive should you set up? And I recommend starting simple, like create a marketing shared drive. This is where your content library lives, your graphics, your templates, your brand assets, your blog posts, your email copy, everything related to creating and publishing content goes there. And when it's organized inside a shared drive, your team can find it, use it, and repurpose it without having to ask you where something is. That's what a content system looks like in practice. Create an operational shared drive. This is where your SOPs live, your onboarding documents, your client files, your processes, everything that keeps your business running. Now, one practical thing you need to know is if you're moving folders from My Drive into a shared drive, when you do this, ownership of those files transfer from you personally to the team. That's actually the whole point of it. But what it also means is that file permission does not automatically carry over. You need to set those up fresh inside the shared drive. It's a one-time thing and it's absolutely worth doing. So instead of those individual files or folders, you're doing it one time. Just know that going in so you're not surprised. One thing is that there are files that cannot be moved because of permission issues. Google will create a shortcut inside your shared drive so that folder structure stays intact. Nothing disappears. It just redirects. For those of you who are not on Google Workspace and you're using a personal Google account, this is my recommendation. I want you to create 2 folders inside the My Drive. One for your business files named your business name or simple business, and one folder named team that you share with all team members so they can be put on the top level folder. The reason you want one team folder is simple. When you need to add someone new, you can share that one folder and they have access to everything they need. When someone leaves, you remove that access from the one folder. Done. No hunting through 15 different documents, trying to figure out what you gave them access to. Trust me, I've been through that process. One folder, one step, and you're done. Let's talk about what your folder structure should actually look like. Here are the folder categories I use and recommend: team, client, sales and marketing, operations, knowledge, content library, and templates. And here's the non-negotiable. Every single folder should have an archive folder inside it. When something is no longer active, it goes in that archive folder. It does not get deleted. It gets archived. Your content library, especially old blog posts, old graphics, old email sequences, archive it, because if you want to repurpose that content, you need to be able to find it. The content library folder is one I want to highlight specifically. This is where repurposing starts. If you have years of content in your business and you want to make that content work harder for you, it needs to live somewhere findable. The content bank is that place. Episodes, blog posts, graphics, lead magnets, it all goes in there. Organized and ready to be pulled for when you're ready to use it again. Now let's talk about naming convention, because this part most people skip, and it's the part that causes the most frustration when you're searching for files at 9 p.m. trying to meet a deadline. Consistent file names are not just about being organized, they're about being able to find things quickly. And they're about making it possible for somebody else to find things without your help. Here's a simple format that I use for client files. MT, then the client name, then what the file is, and then the year. Clean, consistent, and searchable. For things like receipts or vendor files inside your finance folder, I name them year, month, who, what, and if it is reoccurring. 2026-03 Google Workspace with a Y, because that means I pay for it yearly. And if it's something that I pay monthly, I put an M. I just like to know which files are reoccurring and which ones are not. So I can always make sure if it's a monthly that I have one every single month. When your files are named consistently, repurposing old content becomes so much easier. You're not just opening 20 documents trying to figure out which one is the right version. You can see it right inside the name. Don't forget, you can add a V for a version 1, 2, 3, 4 to that as well. But pick a convention that works for you. Write it down, stick to it, and when somebody joins your team, that naming convention is part of the onboarding because it's in your SOPs. All right, so we have talked about the structure, the setup. Now let's talk about the actual process of decluttering what you already have. Here's the fastest way I've found to do this. Open your Google Drive and sort your files by last opened by me. Then reverse sort so that the files you haven't opened actually are at the top. Now look through the list. Anything you haven't opened in 6 months or more, ask yourself honestly, do I need to keep this where it's at? Can it go into an archive folder? Now I want you to share something with you here because I think it will save you from a decision you might regret down the road. I am actually going through this process now with my own Google Drive, reorganizing my folder structure and purging what's no longer relevant to where my business is today. And the way I handle it is not just deleting old files. I move them to the archive folder and I date it. Here's my rule. Anything that has not been touched in a year can be deleted, not before that date. Why? Because Google warns you that deleted files will be permanently gone in 30 days. And once they're gone, they're gone. And I've seen what happens when that feels too final, too fast. I always give my clients the recommendation, but at the end of the day, it's their business and they get to make the call. And I've had clients choose to delete files that I would have archived. Some of them have come back and said they wish they hadn't. The 1-year archive is a safety net. It's a breathing room between I don't think I need this and I know for certain I don't. And for your content library especially, that breathing room matters because what feels irrelevant today might be exactly what you need 6 months from now when you're ready to refresh it and make it new again. Archive first, delete later, always. Okay, so let's bring this all together for you. An organized Google Drive is not just about being tidy, it's about being ready. Ready to bring someone onto your team without chaos. Ready to hand things off without being hovering. Ready to build that next layer of your business on a foundation you can actually hold on to. So if you take nothing else from this episode, let it be this. Your drive should make sense to someone who has never been inside your business before. If it doesn't, that's not a reflection of who you are. It's just a signal that it's time to build a system. And if you want a starting point, I have a free guide called Organize Your Digital Content. It walks you through the simple Google Drive folder structure you can implement today. I'll link it down below in the show notes. I pray this encouraged you today, friend. If you're building something meaningful, let's make sure the foundation is ready to hold it. Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end of this episode. If it was helpful, I would love for you to share it with a fellow entrepreneur who is thinking about growing their team. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much again for your time. I appreciate you, and I hope you make it a wonderful week. Yay! Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you found this episode valuable and learned some actionable tips that you can implement in your business so that you can feel accomplished and less stressed. If you enjoyed this show, please take a quick minute to share this with your business bestie, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps me reach more business owners just like you. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover in future episodes, please reach out to me on my website. I've created a form just for you. Remember, with the right system and mindset, you can achieve the success your heart desires. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to chatting with you next time. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful week. And don't forget, let's grow, friends.